we do a little drugs, you know? We just pop a little
Do a little
potion.
drug. That was good. That was a good fucking. That was a good poll. Kind of has my hopes up.
Same. I just really don't know what comes afterwards, but
It's
we believe
all-
the video
it's-
said it's nothing new.
Oh god, I'm like 30 FPS again. What the fuck? Out.
Oh, hey, these are Drew's markers.
Are they normally not?
Yes, on.
Out. Octopus. Oh,
Did I get clipped by the stat?
maybe. Spread into pairs.
Oh
I
god.
I might just kill everyone here. Yeah.
Just wait.
My hands are so cold. They've been cold all day. Why is my FPS so shit? I feel like I'm playing Lost Ark right now, dude. In. That's even harder because my fucking FPS is in the trash can. In. Octopus.
I'm 1 HP from that. What the hell?
Bird into pairs. Oh my goodness. My interlaces have drifted 5 seconds. Normal.
It's pairs.
Pairs in the spread.
Oh my god. Oh.
Not even close.
I will clip that and show you guys later.
Watch the bing. No! Hey, give me that gracious. Oh, gracious! Oh. I love gracious. Oh, that was close. The people almost trolled me. Out. Octopus. It's rolls into spread. Rolls into spread. Oh goodness.
Oh fuck.
Oh, wait a minute. What's the spread? You know what?
Fuck! I rezzed and it killed me.
No, babe.
That's so unlucky.
Out. In. Octopus. Spread into rolls. Rolls. Normal.
And be spread into partners.
Ashtabay. In. Octopus. Spread into rolls. Spread first, then rolls. Spread. Rolls. LB.
Thank you.
Up front.
Oh, that's where. That's where I went.
Rolls, 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 rolls. Good try.
Oh fuck! I didn't get my second window. I'm not gonna hit here.
Oh, just big heals if you can. Oh, we live. Nice. Good recovery. Another tank buster. Should have your rampart back. I got nothing. Hopefully I don't die. Yeah, we're good. Oof. This is gonna hurt. Rage. We're good. I have blood wedding. Parted plumes, just like normal mode, nice and easy. Easy peasy. Watch the beam, watch the beams, watch the beams. Jump.
Oh, it's
It's gonna be a silk split spread. Just like the first one. Oh, Jesus Christ. You gotta be fast on this. Ugh. We're good. Out. Out. Squid. Beautiful. Normal mount down.
wow. Is this it?
Pump. LB2, LB2, LB2. Yep, this is enrage. This is enrage. Wait, we might do it. We might do it. We might do it. We do it. We're gonna do it. Oh, oh, we're free. Holy hell, dude.
We did it!
We did it.
Holy shit! We're finally
Have me
free.
picture, please.
Okay.
We did it.
Alright, what do I roll on the last two things? 85 on the tombstone, there's a chance.
Ooh, hopium.
Alright, how about the shine, how about the shine? Oh, 86 on the shine, let's go. No 90s, but you know. It's decent, that's decent.
57, 43, 27, 76. Oh, I got a 93 on the Roborant. Or not the fucking shine, whatever. Let's go, let's go. That's good. Yes! Yes! Got something. That's all that matters. I got something.
I don't even need, like, the hat on
That
the
move.
boots.
Get in the line.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, shit. I'll stand next to snow.
Hawkers, we're freedom.
No, I gotta go.
Freedom.
Let's go. Alright, good luck, guys. Have fun in a P12 normal mode from now on.
You better be a fucking turbo blaster now. You got the OP weapon.
Actually, I don't have the tomes to actually
Okay.
get it. I literally just spent all of it.
God, that went so smooth. That was so
Yeah.
smooth.
Yeah.
Like, I could just tell from the first pull. I could fucking feel it, dude. The fucking mojo was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit.
Yeah, we got the
Oh my God.
harrowing hell the first pull. So
I felt so
That's right.
bad. I felt like I was the only one that was making mistakes.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
man, it really is free though after harrowing hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sage person was like getting ready to go, but everyone else lined up, so then it was like fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna cry.
Not like this.
Picture.
Picture.
I was like terrified after harrowing hell because I wasn't entirely sure what was coming up next, but I was muted and I couldn't talk, and then I was panicking.
It's okay. Deep breaths.
Deep breaths, you did it.
You
We
did
did
it.
it, we did
Saw
it.
your way through.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. We're free.
We're free.
Alright,
Now we
P11.
now we clear 11 and
Oh.
I mean, there's a I don't know. Well, I was gonna say there's a chance, but never mind. You should. We'll go. Obviously not tonight, but the fights comparatively to P10 is easy, so we can believe. There's a lot of eye fuck mechanics in 11 though, like a bunch of colored tethers and big colorful AOE's that go on everywhere.
Big, colorful.
But we can do one thing before we all head off for the night.
Oh, this is Hector Hectorson.
Yeah,
Welcome to the
Hectorson.
Guide to
Welcome to
P11.
this P11S guide. Alright, come.
Also here's the part where I was like, I was.
Oh
I
no,
was-
yeah, sorry.
I was like, holy shit, I
sorry.
can I was like,
Sorry.
you know, this is normal. It's like cursed, right?
Okay.
I'm not even looking. That's the thing. I'm not even looking. I had no idea.
And then I'm there. I was like trying to eat instant ramen between pulls.
Good old cup noodles.
Cup noodles. I'll get fried chicken tomorrow.
Sound good. Some KFC.
Usually I just get like the shopping, the grocery store ones.
Grocery store.
Wait, do you
chicken
upload a log?
wings? Yeah, I just did.
Oh.
I got a grade.
Oh, I forgot I'm streaming my browser. I was about to say, how the fuck did you know that? I was like, what the hell? Okay.
Oh, you're streaming?
We're gonna watch the
You're streaming right now.
Oh, I'm still. Give me like 3 more minutes.
Oh, it's okay.
See, he has to start you guys, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I have.
I'm still in picture mode.
Picture mode. Wow, it's 65. Actual cheating. The fact that you got a 65 with like such little gear that you have is insane. Craziness. Fucking craziness, dude.
Time to save Astro Dead Class. No one plays Astro.
No, boy,
I am curious. I am curious. I'm very curious. Out of
5,000.
5,082.
Not bad. I mean, I'm only 6,000.
God, Astro Sage must be pretty common. 4,252 combinations.
Dude, Sage is 10k. Holy fuck.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got a couple good ones.
Got the picture. Time to post on Twitter. I'll give it a like. I always like your posts.
Woohoo, thank you.
How do I even die here? What?
Alright, is everyone here for Hector
I'm
Hectorson?
so excited to drop P11.
Not yet.
I'm so happy we're
It's
done with
okay, take your
P10.
time. That's true. We can
I'm
join duty
so
complete parties now,
excited.
and they're gonna be worse than that. What that? Oh my god! That I can just. It's just that feeling, you know, when you join a
Yeah.
PF party, you just get that feeling where it's just like,
Yeah.
I got some high hopes on this feeling, you know, like that. That's how that party felt.
I mean, when you realize whenever we take a raid wipe, we don't
Yeah,
fall
you
less
don't
than
go to
like half.
fucking
damage, yeah.
1 HP.
That means people are using their MIT properly, so
Yeah.
it means like, oh, these people actually know how to play the class, so you know, we should be able to clear.
The moment Snow said the sage is good, I'm like, oh. I
Oh.
mean, we're not dying all the time.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
But it's really hard to read the damage numbers because you fucking play on ultra wide. Everything's so stretched.
Is it actually? Is it that bad? I think it looks
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that was 2,000 damage overkill. I mean, I have the log again. I can literally just check what the
Oh,
overkill
so I just died to damage?
Yeah.
I'm fucking balling.
is.
Where's your personal, Steve?
Death.
I do. We see, the thing
Just
is,
joking.
do I always personal share? Is it always personal?
I'm just joking.
I know. You know, I also had high, good faith. You know, my healers would protect me.
No. There's so much shit
No.
going on, dude. Like, it's kind of hard to give people stuff because that fight is like everything belongs to the tanks. I don't have room to give it to anyone else.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised I'm still dying at 80%, even though I got like 5 eye level ever since the last time we went in.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this just shows how hard P10 hits, really.
Ciao. Okay, I'm here. I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. There's a different fucking whatever.
Check the description
Early
below for links to
strats
any newer,
approaching.
better strats. Hi guys, and welcome to a Hector lecture guide to the fight P11S.
Sup, Hector? How you doing?
This is Themis. Before we begin the fight, I just want to bring attention to
Themis.
a couple of markings on the
Penis.
ground that are really useful. These diamonds here are incredibly useful for knowing whether or not you're far enough in or out from attacks. The outer circle are max melee, but outside of the point-blank AoE attacks if the boss is perfectly middle, and the inside circle of diamonds are usually in enough for any of the donut attacks. Also make sure you're aware of these lines on the ground, as for a lot of the portal attacks that we're going to see, these lines determine the safe spots. For my guide, I'm going to be using the standard Kindred waymarks that I've seen most commonly in Party Finder, though my group actually used these instead, which are the same waymarks.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Oh,
Where is it?
shit.
Hold the phone.
I was looking
I
for
gotta-
markers.
I gotta go yoink them real quick.
Mm-hmm. It's 11.
Oh.
Markers, 11 markers.
Kindred make.
So do you just copy and paste that or something?
Yeah, it's a plugin. That,
Way more plugin.
Yeah, I'll never need to use it.
Yeah, she's got it covered.
Same positions.
this is such a nice site, by the way. Fucking it has like
Yeah.
all. It's just a repo of all the markers.
Just color rotated so that color partners have the same color. Use whichever waymarks your group's comfortable with. For this fight, you need to agree clock spots. These should be your supports on cardinals and your DPS on intercardinals. Your partner spots need to be on intercardinals, as a lot of times we're dodging a dash at the same time. For this, we have the supports rotate counterclockwise. We go for counterclockwise so that we can have our light party stacks east and west. Throughout this fight, the boss is going to be using light and dark a lot like they did in normal mode. Now, while the actual specifics of the mechanic is going to change based on the cast, one thing that's always going to be in common is whenever you see light, you know that this is going to end with light party stacks. And when you see dark, This is going to instead end with partner stacks. Light parties, dark, duos. The fight begins with a raid-wide Unamiya. This is going to hit pretty hard, but also comes with a bleed, so make sure to mitigate it to minimize the bleed
Classic.
damage. Next up is a tank buster targeting the top 2 players in aggro. First player hit in
That's
aggro is going to
homophobic.
get light for both hits. Second in aggro gets dark for both hits. Because it comes with a vulnerability, you need to swap during to make sure you get hit by different elements. This is almost identical to p10s Duality of Death with 2 major differences. First, this doesn't cleave, so have your tanks both stack north so the boss doesn't rotate. And 2, it hits hard. Healers watch out, as there's a decent chance your tank will not be able to survive both hits, even with a lot of cooldowns.
Jesus.
The next mechanic you see is healing
Jesus.
overrule.
Okay. Alright. I don't think I've heard Hector ever say that before.
All its major mechanics in the light or the dark variation. Which version you get is random for each pull. Jury Overruling, the light version, always starts with everybody spread max melee at their spread spots. They get hit with these line AoE P10s, and then immediately need to come in at east and west to take light party stacks. A point blank AoE is dropped where everybody was stood before, so make sure you move from where you were stood. The dark version of this is going to have the exact same line AoE P10s, however, everybody's going to drop a donut AoE where they're stood, and we need to get into partners, so tanks and healers rotate counterclockwise to stack with their partner. You'll see there's a safe spot stood directly where they were, as long as you were all max melee. Next up is Upheld Overruling, which always comes with a tether. The light variant of this is going to target the tethered player for a stack damage, so everybody should stack perfectly middle, with the tethered player doing their best to stay exactly on the X in the middle so the boss doesn't move. After the stack, immediately run all the way out east and west for light parties. The dark variant of Upheld Overruling is always going to tether to a tank. This is a tank buster with a massive cleaving AoE that'll knock
RNG
people
tank buster.
away if they get
Not
hit
like
by it,
this.
so the tank should go perfectly middle, and everybody else should go out in their partners. After the initial hit, which comes with a bleed, so definitely throw at least a short cooldown on this tanks. Everybody should come in afterwards so that they can soak their pairs, as there's a donut AoE with them. The final combo mechanic is Divisive Overruling. This always comes with a line AoE through the middle, where the boss is facing, so main tanks make sure you're facing the boss north as much as you can for this. For the light variant, everybody rotates towards their light parties on east and west, and you just stay there max melee. You'll dodge the initial hit, you'll dodge the second hit, and you'll take your light parties. For the dark variant, instead, rotate to be with your partners, wait for the initial hit to go off, and move in afterwards as the second hit hits outside of that. When all of that's done, everybody should get middle, as you're going to have a random healer targeted with sticks. This is a multi-hit stack marker. The first time you see it, it's going to hit for 5 hits, and every successive cast is going to hit for an additional hit, so mitigate this heavily as it hurts.
It's okay. It's easier than
When you've survived
P10.
sticks, the
You're
boss
in the
is going to cast
clearing.
Arcane Revelation with either light or dark. Take note of this. This element that you see here is unsafe for the next mechanic, so we're going to be looking for light safe spots. Have your groups go east-west, and a bunch of portals appear on the outside. These appear on 2 random intercardinals. The patterns that you see are always going to be the same. One will be dark, light, light, dark. The other will be light, dark, dark, light. Since we have a dark Arcane Revelation, light AoEs are the safe spots. The simplest way to find the safe spot is find the pattern that has light in the middle. The safe spot will be directly in front of those, and directly opposite those, so 2 and 4. If I overlay the dark line AoEs that are going to show up later, you can see that these are quite wide safe spots. The lines on the ground allow you to know exactly where to stand. Rotate into your safe spot, which will be near to where you originally stood. Make sure you're out of the AoE and max melee, and the boss is going to start to cast Dismissal Overruling. Dismissal Overruling always comes with a knockback at the start, so as soon as you see the cast, or even before it, pop knockback immunity. When the cast finishes, first the knockback happens, which we all just immune and ignore. Then the lasers go off, and then we sort whatever element Dismissal Overruling was. Because it was light this time, we're just going to stay out and soak light party stacks. Had Dismissal Overruling been dark instead, very similar. We split into our pairs in the safe spot. We ignore the knockback with knockback immunity. We wait for the lasers to go off, and then, and only then, do we dodge in for our pairs. Just be careful that you don't dodge in too soon. This is all fairly slow, so don't dodge into the lasers. You get a long time of just a bunch of autos before the boss casts Shadowed Messengers. Once again, have your group split east and west. 2 ads are going to spawn. We want to pay attention to those, but we can wait a second, because they're going to start casting a light and a dark version of the divisive mechanic, the one that cuts through the middle. Because we're split east and west, as long as we're max melee, everybody is already in a safe spot. Just like in the version that the boss does, the light one is about to get larger, whereas the dark one is going to be the safe spot afterwards. So every group is just going to rotate towards the dark path. Finally, the main tank needs to wait to go and join their group. As soon as they see where the light ad is, they should face the boss towards the light ad to make the dodges much simpler for the mechanic following. Once the boss starts casting Divisive Overruling, the boss's position is locked and the main tank can go join the group. Pay attention to the boss's element, it'll be important in a second.
Tank responsibility grows.
Wait for the initial dashes. Everybody rotates into the dark path. Some ads fall down, but we can ignore them for now. We dodge the second hit, and now we deal with the boss's Divisive Overruling. The boss should be cleaving away from us, because we faced him towards the light ad. And since this is the light version, we just stay out and take light party stacks. After this, you can now notice that 1 DPS and 1 tank have been tethered. These are doing that same tethered mechanic that we've seen previously. We need everybody to stack middle, except for the tank that is tethered. That tank needs to go out towards max melee on the edge, preferably in a consistent spot, so I'm going to have that tank always go north. The group gets a stack, the tank gets a tank buster, and we're about to get the in-out, so everyone should run towards the tank as we get a donut and a point-blank AoE at the same time. That's it. That's the whole of the mechanic. I'm just going to rewind to show you had we gotten the dark version of Divisive Overruling instead from the boss. Once again, main tank waits until the cast to go join the group. The first dashes go off. The group rotates into the dark path. Afterwards, since the boss is doing the dark version, we wait for the initial cleave, and then we go in with our partners. Everybody stacks middle except for the tank that's tethered, who's going to go all the way up north, max melee. Be aware, if the tank is max melee, the group needs to be at least middle or slightly south of middle, otherwise they're going to get clipped, and that's going to cause some wipes. Once the first hits go off, everybody runs towards the tank. Whichever combo you get, this is going to be followed immediately by a Jury Overruling, so everybody wants to head towards their clock spots. Once you go there, take the initial attack, and depending on the element, resolve either the light party stacks or pairs.
Oh, I'll fucking see that again.
Initial attack, their clock spots. Once you go there, take the initial attack.
Like flings out the fucking
The bosses.
Take the initial attack, and depending on the element,
I thought it was
resolve either the
seeing
light
things.
party
I was
stacks
just like,
I saw that. That was pretty funny.
It's going to be followed with a Styx that's going to hit for 6 hits this time, and then we get a new mechanic, Light Stream. Light Stream is always going to spawn these 3 sort of glowing light orbs on the outside in these exact spots. They're going to show line AoEs, and they're going to rotate. 2 of these will always rotate one direction, the third will rotate the other direction, but whether or not it's 2 clockwise or 2 counterclockwise is random. There is only going to be one of the outside pizza slices that's safe at the start, and so this is a puzzle to identify it. Tons of different ways to solve it. My preferred method is find the one that's rotating a different direction from the other 2, in this case the counterclockwise one in the south, and go 2 spaces away from where it's rotating. It's pointing sort of left, so we're going to go 2 spaces to its right. That's our safe spot. Everybody heads over there. The boss is going to face towards, and the lasers go off, and now the boss is going to start to cast Divisive Overruling, and will almost always be facing perfectly where we were just stood. We need to get to the sides in our light parties. To do this, have Group 1 facing the boss start to inch their way left, Group 2 facing the boss inch their way right. Watching out for the lasers, there's 7 total hits. Since we've got the dark version of Divisive Overruling, we need to get into our pairs, and we're doing this sort of relative to how we would normally do it. Imagine that the boss was in the normal spot facing north, and you were on the side. If you were facing the boss, would you go left or go right? That's how we're splitting up into our pairs here. The boss does the initial dash, and then you need to dodge in with your pairs in this case.
So
We get
boss
another
roll.
raid wide with its bleed. Another upheld overruling. This is the tether version of the mechanic, so either stack middle for light or get out for the dark tank buster. In this case, light, so the groups get out for light parties afterwards. And now the big one. Dark and Light is not necessarily the hardest mechanic, but it is probably the most confusing one. Dark and Light is going to have every player targeted with either a light or a dark debuff. One light party, so a tank, a healer, and 2 DPS have dark, and the opposite have light. You're also going to have every support tethered to a DPS. Now, if you are tethered to the opposite color debuff, your tether is going to look like this, and this is signifying that you and your partner need to be close together for the whole mechanic. Get too far apart, big damage, you probably die. If you and your partner have the same color debuff, your tether is going to look like this instead. This is telling you to get away from each other, because if you are too close at any point in time, you are going to take big damage and probably die. Far enough apart is outside of the hitbox, directly opposite, max melee for safety. Finally, if you happen to already be resolving your tether, which is possible, your tether is going to look thin like this, like what H2 and R2 have, and your debuff will have changed. This signifies that you are in the correct spots. Everybody needs to get their tether to look like this in a couple of seconds, otherwise they're going to take damage and die. Now, we all need to get to spread spots that we're going to use throughout a bunch of different mechanics and dodges during this. To do this in an orderly fashion, supports are going to go towards cardinals, DPS are going to go towards intercardinals. We have whichever tank has the long tether always go north. If it's not the main tank, they should provoke and the other tank shirk so that the boss is facing north throughout the entirety of this mechanic. The DPS tethered to them goes to the intercardinal opposite. The healer with long tether goes directly south, and the DPS
this reminded me back
goes
too.
to the intercardinal opposite.
Yeah, I know which
For the
one
short
you
tethers,
got.
healer needs to go to the east,
Irie
What?
Wallows
and the
with
tank needs to go to
self-pity.
the
Okay.
west, with their partners just going next to them.
Oh, I don't have the shiny one.
The rest of light and dark is simply going to be doing some fairly easy dodges, but
What, act
while
two?
making sure that we never unresolve our tethers. The first one is Arcane Revelation.
Good talk.
The boss will show an element,
Did you
in this
say?
case
Yeah,
dark,
at least I
and then
think he
spawn
had to.
orbs
Yeah.
on cardinals. Two
Act
of
Act
these
two of
will
what?
be dark, 2 of these will be light. We need to
P4.
go to the opposite element of the
Oh.
boss's cast, so light is safe. For this pattern here, short tethers would just slide out, and the long tethers would rotate clockwise to make sure that they don't ever accidentally shorten their tethers. Had we have gotten this pattern instead, here the long tethers are already next to a light orb, so they're just going to slide onto the one they're next to, and the short tethers instead rotate clockwise. However you deal with the dodge here, immediately afterwards head back towards your spread spots. Now, we have a jury overruling to deal with. That's the spread into either partners or light party stacks, and I'm going to show you 2 different versions of how to deal with both the dark and the light way. The standard kindred version of dark has everybody starting on their waymarks. After the initial proteans go off, the short tethers are just going to go all the way out east and west. The long tether supports are going to rotate clockwise to stack on their partner. This causes you to lose some uptime, so if you'd prefer the Kindred uptime version, in this
Oh
case,
gosh.
everybody's going to start on their waymarks for the initial proteans. After the line AoEs go off, this time, the short tethers are going to rotate onto one of the spots where a long tether currently is, and the long tethers rotate to be on the other one. I'm going to show this with everybody going clockwise, though I've seen some that do counterclockwise to keep light parties together. For the light version, standard Kindred version has everybody going on their waymarks, but then the long tethers disengage before the cast finishes. This leaves a bigger safe spot for the stacks afterwards. For this, you need your long tethers to just go back in between their waymarks, and the short tethers need to rotate counterclockwise. This is the only time you do a counterclockwise rotation, but it's to make sure the healers stay separate.
No,
If you
God.
don't like the disengage or the healers having to go counterclockwise if they're short tether, then
You can
do the
ignore
uptime
anything
version.
that isn't
This is
uptime
everybody
because
just
there's no
stay on
shout.
their
We're not
waymark,
doing the
no
uptime strat.
disengage, and at the
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
everybody rotates clockwise to get towards
it's
east-west, with
not
short tethers just
PS
going out
standard?
on their side. If you are at A and C, before
I
it's-
would highly doubt that non-uptime is not VO standard. Okay. Kindred uptime, Kindred uptime, Kindred uptime, Kindred uptime, Kindred up. Yeah, everyone uses uptime.
Kindred of time.
this goes off, you're probably going to need sprint as the timing can be quite
Oh.
tight. However you deal with this, I recommend having at least the current main tank go back to their spread spots, or have, in this I show here, everyone go back to their spread spots. The boss will cast Divisive Overruling. This is going to be a half arena cleave. To deal with the light version, all we do is we have the short tethers go out on their side, and the long tethers rotate clockwise. Stay out, and soak your light party stacks together. If we get the dark variant instead, Everybody's still going to rotate clockwise, but everybody's only going to rotate a little bit clockwise. So short tethers rotate a little bit clockwise and go out. Long tethers rotate clockwise. The hardest part of this one is right here. You might be tempted to just walk horizontally straight in, but if the long tethers do that, they're likely to get too close, activate their tethers, and kill each other. So instead, when going in, long tethers should rotate around the hitbox back into the safe spot to make sure their tethers stay long. If you've done all this, don't make the most obvious mistake here. You are still tethered, don't move. Wait until the boss casts Emissary's Will, which gets rid of all of the tethers and debuffs, and now you're free to move wherever you want to. With Dark and Light out of the way, we get another Styx, this time for 7 hits, another Tank Buster to deal with the same way as before, and Dark Current.
That grown.
For Dark Current, I split the groups east and west.
Yeah, there's no.
3 AoEs are going to appear. The 2 on the outside are going to either appear north-south or east-west, and we're about to have lines appear that show which way those are going to rotate. From our east-west spots, our groups are going to adjust to wherever is going to be safe the longest. So here we see a counterclockwise rotation, so the groups rotate to 1 and 3, as that's going to be the last places hit with AoEs. We're currently in spread spots because the boss casts Blinding Light, which puts a spread marker on everyone. For these spreads, this is just the tank healer nearer to the AoE that's going to rotate, the DPS further away, with tanks and melees in and healer ranged out. The AoEs are going to go off. After 3 hits, the spreads are going to activate. And from here, you just need to get to the next intercardinal past where the AoE started, and from here you can stop moving. This will be always followed with a jury overruling, so get back to your clock spots and resolve whatever element you see. In this case, light, so the groups stack and light parties in. We now get another random upheld overruling. This is the tether mechanic. And a random divisive overruling. This is going to be with the line AoE dash through the middle. Another raid wide. And then the final big mechanic, Letter of the Law. This is probably the longest and most complicated mechanic, and will probably be the hardest one for you to be able to get the clear. For Letter of the Law...
I thought that was light and dark. Didn't you say the light and dark was the hardest?
Some ads will fall down, but we don't care about where they are or what they're doing. We could ignore
No, I
them.
said it wasn't the hardest,
The
it was
boss will cast
complicated.
twofold revelation and show either light or dark. Just like the arcane revelations of before, whatever element we see here is unsafe for the entirety of the rest mechanic, so we need to be looking for dark safe spots this time.
Blow up time? Any blow up time enjoyers?
Orbs, portals,